So you try to talk to this girl and she acts like she is the prize. She even ignores you and looks down on you, making you feel you are not up to her standards. Relax, brother. We are going to trash that today. You know, from the moment a beautiful woman steps outside her home, dozens of men compete for her attention. With social media and dating apps, those dozens have become hundreds. Messages, likes, compliments, invitations every day from every direction. Over time, this constant validation inflates her ego, and she begins to feel she has every man at her beck and call. Even her walking steps change. She carries her head up high and has the eyes that says, "The queen is here." And if you're not tall, well-built, handsome, or financially stable, she may see herself as superior and look down on you. But don't worry, my brother. Today, we are going to change that narrative. You're going to understand why this is happening, how to deal with it, and most importantly, how to break her ego. This is going to be a complete guide. So, this video is going to be a bit lengthy compared to our other videos. So, you can always save to watch later and come back to continue where you stop. But ensure you watch this video to the end so you don't miss anything. So are you ready to journey with me? If you are, then type "I am ready" in the comment section. Have you done that? All right, let's begin. We would begin with the real problem you're facing. The reason you're struggling in your love life is the same reason you're watching this video right now. You don't fully understand how dating works. And this is not your fault. No one ever gave us an instruction manual for women. No one explained the rules. No one broke down the psychology. So, most men rely on what society teaches them. Movies, social media, romantic advice that sounds good but fails in real life. I could easily give you 5 surface-level steps to break a woman's ego, speak in a motivational tone, and get you excited. You'd enjoy the video, but nothing would actually change because you can't solve a problem unless you understand its root cause. And this brings us to the first golden rule of this video. The main reason you struggle with women is not your looks, money, or status. It's your lack of understanding of how dating truly works. Once you understand the system, everything becomes clear. I will number these points from 0.1 to 5. Under these points, there might be sub-steps you should take and how to apply them. So, ensure you take notes or save this video so you can come back to watch if you eventually forget any of these points I'm going to list here today. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you understand the system, you stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. And that shift in perspective is what separates the men who succeed from the men who constantly struggle. Point 1. Dating is a marketplace. Dating only feels confusing when you look at it too closely and emotionally. When you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, patterns become obvious. Think about all the men and women in your city. Now expand that view to your country, then to the entire world. From this perspective, dating stops feeling personal and starts looking structured. Dating is a marketplace, and like any marketplace, it operates according to underlying laws. These are not rigid rules that must be followed perfectly, but consistent patterns that repeat themselves across cultures, generations, and societies. They exist because of human evolution, not modern trends. These patterns did not form overnight. They were shaped over millions of years of survival, reproduction, and selection. Human behavior in dating today is still guided by instincts that existed long before modern society, social media, or dating apps. When men unknowingly fight against these natural patterns, they experience frustration, confusion, and repeated rejection. They feel like dating is unfair or broken. But when men understand these patterns and align themselves with them, dating suddenly becomes much clearer. Effort decreases, confusion fades, and attraction begins to feel natural rather than forced. Understanding the marketplace is the foundation of everything that follows. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." When you waste time fighting against the natural laws of dating, you waste the most valuable resource you have. But when you understand and work with these laws, you stop wasting time and start making progress. Point 2. The biological conflict between men and women. At the most basic level, dating exists because of one primal instinct, reproduction. Everything else is secondary. Men and women evolved very different strategies to fulfill this instinct. For early men, the most effective strategy was quantity. A man could increase his chances of passing on his genes by reproducing with as many women as possible. There was little biological cost to doing so. For early women, the strategy was the opposite. Pregnancy was costly, risky, and time-consuming. Because of this, women evolved to be selective. Their survival depended on rejecting most men and securing commitment from one strong man who could protect them and provide long-term security. Although we live in a modern world filled with technology, social media, and dating apps, our brains have not caught up. Human biology evolves slowly. The instincts that guided our ancestors thousands of years ago are still active today. These ancient drives continue to shape attraction, behavior, and expectations in modern dating. Men are still driven to pursue, while women are still driven to filter and select. This biological conflict is why women often seem to have more power in the early stages of dating. They are the selectors. They are the ones who decide who gets access. And when you understand this, you stop resenting women for their selectivity and start respecting the natural order of things. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. When you realize that women's selectivity is not personal, it is biological, you stop taking rejection personally. You stop feeling victimized. You start focusing on what you can control, your own growth, your own value, your own positioning. This leads us to the next point. Point 3. Women are the gatekeepers of sex. Men are the gatekeepers of commitment. Women are the gatekeepers of sex, and men are the gatekeepers of commitment. This dynamic exists because men and women desire different things at different stages of attraction. Women use sex as a way to secure commitment. It allows them to test whether a man is serious, invested, and willing to stay. Men, on the other hand, often use the promise of commitment to access intimacy. This exchange is not moral or immoral. It is simply biological and psychological. In the dating marketplace, sex and commitment function like currencies. Each side trades what they control to obtain what they desire. Problems arise when one side gives away their currency too easily. Today's video is not about sex. It is about your currency as a man. Commitment. Most men severely undervalue it. Commitment comes in stages, and each stage carries weight. Level 1, attention and approval. This is the first form of commitment a woman seeks. Your time, focus, interest, and validation signal that she matters to you. Level 2, non-exclusive dating. This is when you spend time together casually without promises or exclusivity. Level 3, exclusive relationship. Both parties agree to emotional and romantic exclusivity. Level 4, marriage. The highest and most permanent form of commitment. Most ego problems occur before level 2. Why? Because men give away level 1 commitment far too easily. They hand out attention, praise, and approval simply because a woman is attractive. When commitment is given freely, it loses value. And when it loses value, so does the man offering it. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, no great thing is created suddenly. Commitment should not be given suddenly either. It should be earned gradually, through consistent effort and genuine connection. When you give it away freely, you are not being generous. You are being careless with your most valuable resource. Point 4. Where men go wrong. Most men fail with women before anything even begins, and they don't realize it. The mistake happens in the very first moments of interaction. They see an attractive woman and immediately start giving away value. They compliment her looks without knowing her. They agree with everything she says to avoid friction. They give her far more attention than she has earned. In doing this, they inflate her ego while lowering their own position. Without realizing it, they communicate that she is above them and that their approval comes easily. Once that happens, attraction struggles to grow. Your attention and approval are not free. They are valuable resources. Here is a truth most men are never told. Just as you are not entitled to her body or intimacy, she is not entitled to your attention, time, or approval. These things must be earned. Attention should be given only to women who invest effort in you, who engage, contribute, and show genuine interest. When your attention is selective, it becomes valuable. When it is given freely, it becomes meaningless. This selectivity naturally keeps her ego in check. It also positions you as a man with standards rather than a man seeking validation. Value is created by restraint, not excess. Seneca wrote, "A man is as unhappy as he has convinced himself he is. When you convince yourself that her approval determines your worth, you become unhappy. But when you convince yourself that your worth is inherent, independent of her validation, you become free. And freedom is attractive." Now that you've understood these basics, let's now hit the main point for today. Point 5. The right way to handle her ego. When a woman's ego is high, she naturally sees herself as being above you. This doesn't happen because she's arrogant by nature, but because of the constant attention and validation she receives. How you respond to this determines everything. Most men react in one of two wrong ways. The first is submission. They act inferior. They become overly polite, agreeable, and cautious. They lower their voice, soften their opinions, and subconsciously try to prove their worth. This reaction signals weakness and immediately confirms her belief that she is above them. The second wrong reaction is aggression. These men try to put her in her place by insulting her, challenging her ego directly, or acting hostile. While this may look confident on the surface, it's still reactive behavior. It shows that her ego affects them. Both approaches fail. The correct solution is simple but difficult to master. Elevate yourself above her. Not verbally, not aggressively, but internally. Success with women is nothing more than a state of mind. She feels what you feel. If you feel inferior, she feels superior. If you feel centered, grounded, and unmoved, she feels it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are of inferiority, your soul will project inferiority. If your thoughts are of grounded confidence, your soul will project grounded confidence. And she will feel that difference in an instant. Step 1. Win the game of chicken. The game of chicken is about one thing. Who backs down first? In every interaction, one person eventually surrenders power. The moment that happens, the dynamic is set. Examples of surrender include panicking when her tone changes, justifying yourself when no explanation is needed, hesitating when you want to act, or retreating emotionally to avoid rejection. The moment you surrender, she feels it. And when she feels it, she gains power. This leads to the second golden rule. People instantly respect you when they realize they can't intimidate or control you. When a woman senses that her reactions don't move you, she assumes you are higher value. This is why players succeed. Not because they're special, but because women know they can't be controlled or shaken. Status is communicated through attitude. Your status is not defined by what you say. It's defined by how you respond or don't respond. Imagine this situation. You say, "Stoic Men is my favorite YouTuber," she replies. "That guy rambles and doesn't know what he's talking about." A low-value man reacts. He justifies. He explains. He defends his opinion. A high-value man does nothing. He doesn't need approval for his preferences. He doesn't need agreement to feel secure. The moment you justify yourself, you signal that her opinion matters more than your own. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you react to her challenge with calm indifference, you demonstrate that her opinion does not affect your sense of self. And that is the essence of high status. Step 2. Communicate from implicit status. So, how do you show high status without bragging or arrogance? By being non-reactive. Let me give you an example. A woman once told me, "I don't understand why guys wear sneakers to bars. You'd look much better in shoes." I reacted. I explained. I defended myself. She controlled me with a single sentence. That's what reactive behavior looks like. Some men try to fix this by saying something edgy like, "Well, I'm not trying to impress you." That's still reactive. The highest status response is no emotional response at all. Non-reactive communication looks like this. Her, "You'd look better in shoes." You, "Thanks for the suggestion." Then you continue the conversation as if nothing happened. Or when she compliments you. Her, "I like your sneakers." You, "Thanks," and you move on. No escalation, no justification, no emotional shift. Why this works? When a woman sees that compliments don't inflate you and criticism doesn't shake you, she assumes something important about you. She assumes you are grounded. Grounded men are rare. This signals confidence, inner stability, and high status. You're not trying to win her approval, and you're not afraid of losing it either. You're not playing to impress. You're not playing to dominate. You're simply being. And that calm, unshakable presence is what draws her in. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." When you are not anxious about her approval, when you are not dependent on her reaction for your happiness, you become truly happy. And that happiness is attractive. So in summary, I will tell you this. Women today receive endless validation from everywhere. Words, attention, compliments, and approval are thrown at them constantly. The man who stands out is not the loudest, richest, or flashiest. It's the man who values his attention, holds his frame, and never surrenders his inner position. Understand the marketplace. Respect your currency. Never blink first. Communicate without reacting. This is how you stay on top. The Stoic path is not about dominating others. It is about mastering yourself. When you master yourself, you become a man of presence, a man of depth, a man who naturally commands respect without having to chase it. You become the kind of man who does not need to break her ego because his ego is already grounded. And that groundedness is what makes him irresistible. So take these principles and apply them. Not as techniques, but as a way of being. Become the man who is calm, centered, and unshakable. And watch as women begin to gravitate toward you, drawn by something they can't quite name but can't quite resist. If you stayed till the end, do well to tell us in the comment section all that you've learned from this video today. And also, watching this video is not enough. You have to apply this wisdom going forward. That is the only proof that I have impacted you positively through this video. And lastly, share this video to a brother who currently needs liberation and clarity. Thank you for being a part of our family. I'll see you in the next video.